fierce, downright fierce, downright fierce, downright fierce, downright fierce, downright fierce. Downright fierce, 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 downright fierce.
It's a downright fierce gaming podcast. Playing mad games and talking mad trash. Subtitle pending, dropping facts. Fat consoles, news, and industry stats. Every week, Josh and the crew go hard with the gaming passion. It's true. It's downright fierce and the place to be. With a custom theme by Lars MC. It's downright fierce, get your game on. 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 It's downright fierce, get your game on. 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 Fierce in this room, it's the bomb. 20 questions, you can't go wrong. Yeah, the console, Chris implores, but now I can't get the Genesis off the floor. Streaming every Sunday on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook Live, so hit the switch. Got Scribe looking up those unknown facts. Helpful as heck, thanks a lot for that. Lost the bet, I need a pie. Pepperoni, it tastes so fly and it feels so good to play these games. Game Gear Links and GBA, Turbo Graphics, Neo Geo, retro consoles, look so neato. Got 10 power strips for the Sega CD. To play Sewer Shark in the dark, that's me. It's downright fierce, get your game on. 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 It's downright fierce, get your game on. 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 It's downright fierce, get your game on. 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 It's downright fierce, get your game on. 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 I play Smash Bros on my PS4, my Xbox 2. I play it more on my NES and Master System. Love Mario so much I almost kissed him. Town and city, Brandon said, but it's okay. What he meant instead is in this world, all is possible like Super Smash Bros. Platform optional, Echo Fighters, here we go. A lot to address on the awesome show. Simon Belmont, the Splatoon crew, Sonic, Yoshi, and Pikachu. Friendship games and stories too. It's a magical world, come join the dudes. Passionate guys with a love for games. Got downright fierce going hard today. It's downright fierce, get your game on. Downright fierce, get your game on. Downright fierce, get your game on.
Downright fierce. Fierce.
Hello, and welcome to episode 98 of Downright Fierce Gaming, the world's greatest podcast with only 2 episodes left. My name is Josh Asensio, and there's like nothing happening this week. Yeah, it's after E3. It's kind of like the week leading up to E3. There's not usually a lot of stuff because, that's not true. Okay, a few weeks before E3, there's not that many things. And then the leaks start to happen. That's when it gets a little bit busy. And then it's usually the week after E3 that it gets super busy with the news. And then now is kind of like all the announcements happen. The only thing that's really newsworthy is gameplay that's been out right now. But I mean, I can't really report on gameplay. I can report. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I looked up. There's a leak right now of Marvel's Avengers, which we'll talk about a little bit because there's actually some news about that. But Marvel's Avengers, the gameplay looks really, really bad. It's worse than even like a leaked movie. But from what you can kind of see in it, it looks really cool. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna get right into it because like I said, this is gonna be a really short episode. Actually, before we get started, I should let you guys know too, and I'll say it again at the end of the episode. But next week, so this is episode 98. The next week is 99, the penultimate episode, which is a cool word. I think I used that correctly. And next week we'll be recording in Jacksonville, partly because I've got to go there to do. Actually, I've got a family reunion coming up. And it's nearby Jacksonville. Not that matters for anything. But additionally, I thought it'd be kind of cool to do that. I mean, it worked out, obviously. I'm not driving to Jacksonville just to do that. But we'll be recording at Brandon's house. So, maybe we'll be able to get some of the other co-hosts, former Jacksonville co-hosts to join us. And, but at the very least, we'll get Brandon. Maybe even Christopher Donald Stanton. I mean, I can't promise anything. But, it was the 3 of us who started this. He doesn't listen to this. I can't pressure him. Okay. And then the week after that, for the 100th episode, we'll be doing that here in St. Pete. Anybody out there who wants to record anything, who wants to, write down anything, I don't think we're going to get anybody who wants to record anything, But if you feel up to it, if you're so inclined, I'll put it up on the last episode. A lot of it's going to be clips, maybe if there's some really newsworthy stuff, we'll go over some news. But mostly I'm going to just kind of put together my favorite, things that have happened with the podcast that I could at least find and remember. I don't remember all of them, obviously, but there's some ones I've definitely been thinking about I want to put together in clips. And we'll send off the podcast right. Cool. All right, so let's get into Fierce News. Let's see if I can get the timing. Fierce News. There we go. Look at that. I did it. You know why? It's the visual cues. I know when I see my finger go up, and then I click the button. That's how you do it. A little behind-the-scenes stuff. Anyways, Fierce News is, of course, brought to you by Patreon. Every goddamn week. Fierce News is, of course, brought to you by MC Lars. Make sure you check out his Patreon page at patreon.com/MCLars. So thanks to a few leaks, we have reason to believe that Last of Us Part 2 is coming out in February. So this is freaking awesome because, well, first of all, I think I might even... I have to look it up. I think I might have lost a pizza bet because I'm pretty sure that I said it was coming out this year. And... there were rumors suggesting that, and then there were later rumors suggesting that it got pushed back to 2020. So, with these extra leaks, it kind of lends to the fact that this might be true. So the first one was actually kind of silly. In an episode of Between the Sheets, which is a Critical Role series of videos where they do interviews with people, Ashley Johnson, who is both on Critical Role and the voice of Ellie in The Last of Us, was asked when the game was coming out. She said, I believe it's coming out and she kind of did one of those things. She's like, oh, no. It's all very quick. It's not like she didn't make a face or anything, but you could tell like she's like, and fortunately, the interviewer actually interrupted, not fortunately for us, but fortunately for her, the interviewer actually interrupted her with a follow-up comment and just kind of let the whole thing play out. So she never answered the question, but she started saying, "Feh," and then let it go. Additionally, Kotaku's Jason Schreier revealed back in May, we actually reported on this one, that Death Stranding would release in November, and The Last of Us Part 2 was bumped to early 2020, possibly February. So, while almost no one believed that Death Stranding would be coming out in November, I was pretty okay with the fact that I believed it. I believed the February thing. And then finally, industry analyst Daniel Ahmad said that February 2020 is the current internal date at developer Naughty Dog, although it's unclear how he came across this information. I mean, that just happens. Sometimes you just can't say. All right, so moving on, we got a lot of interesting information about Marvel Avengers. First, so at the E3 press conference, it makes me, hi, Miss Mishka, hello. No, not on there. Not on there. Yes, you can show everybody your butthole. You go right on ahead. Who cares about the audio listeners, right? There we go. Make it cute. Make it cute for the video people. Get slutty. Get slutty. Put those legs in the air. Do it. Why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you doing it? Okay. All right. That's fine. Anyways, okay, so the E3 press conference with Square and talking about Avengers, I wouldn't say it has me worried. I mean, it has me a little worried. It's a little bit worried. What it mostly is that they're very, very specific with their language, and they're a little bit misleading. So what I mean by that, I mean, I think we could all agree. If I said, hey, I don't have a gun on me, but I had one like right next to me, that's misleading, right? If I said, I didn't steal the money from the bank, but I stole it from the gas station or something, like it's a little misleading, right? I mean, you're not lying, you're not doing anything bad per se, but that, I think we could agree it's a little bit misleading. So, first of all, at the press conference, they said that there will be gameplay with 1 to 4 players for Avengers. They did say that. They say gameplay for 1 to 4 players. But it turns out they weren't talking about the single player campaign. Well, I mean, it's single player, it's kind of inferred, but basically, yeah, for the campaign, there's no multiplayer. 0 multiplayer for the campaign. The regular story, no multiplayer. What it turns out they meant was, and according to Crystal Dynamics lead combat designer Vincent Napoli and lead creative director Sean Eskag, Eskag, I don't know. As you progress through the campaign, extra side missions will open up where you have the option to play multiplayer. So you could still play a single player, but these are basically little vignettes that open up little side missions, and those you could do multiplayer. Those you can, pick actually any Avenger that you want. And when you unlock, more and more Avengers, you'll just be able to, play anybody in these. It won't matter. But as far as the single player campaign goes, I keep calling it that by accident, but that's exactly what it is. As far as the campaign goes, though, 0 multiplayer. So that's misleading, right? When you don't say, hey, the campaign, because it's like saying, yes, you could play our game multiplayer. In multiplayer, that's like, this is the exact same thing as saying, hey, the next Grand Theft Auto, you can play multiplayer. Not the campaign, but you could play multiplayer mode. That's misleading. I just think it is. That's not where it stops either. They said, okay, so this one's a little bit less. They said that the game will not have loot boxes or pay to win. No loot boxes, no pay to win. And then it turns out we didn't say anything about microtransactions. So this one is a little bit less fucky. And I'll tell you why. It's because this game, they're planning on supporting this game for years and years and years. After a while, you get your money's worth with a game like that. Once you put in 20 hours, you made your money's worth. And the only way that you can support the developer ongoing is to do things like microtransactions. Now, they did say it's not going to have any pay to win. So, if there's any kind of competitive thing, or, there's not going to be like hopefully it's not going to be like what they did in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where it takes a long time to grind and then you have to pay to progress your character. It sounds like it won't be anything like that. So this one is fine. They're not gonna keep working on this game for free. I get that. I'm just because we don't know what microtransactions is yet. We don't know what that. There you go, kitty. We don't know exactly what that means. So hopefully it is innocent. The fact that they're not really going into too many details about it makes me think that they're working on the wording, which makes me a little bit worried. But that's definitely to keep an eye on. Something to keep an eye on. Now, there's also been a lot of backlash about the character models. I think we talked about this last week. One of the main complaints is that the characters look like a pale imitation of the MCU Avengers. Now, I'm pretty sure I said this last week. I'll say it again anyways. The fact that there are people who are saying that they want it to look more like MCU or more like the comic book characters it's I mean, okay. Just because there are similarities doesn't mean anything. Like, they're not making an MCU story. They're not making a comic book story. They're making a completely unique story. So, I mean, why can't the characters look unique? And if you want to know why they look like a pale, like, when you look at MCU, like, all the MCU characters, they kind of look like a pale imitation of the comic book characters. They look the same, but not quite. So now that's extending into the video game world. Just saying. It's silly. I don't know. It's silly. In response to all of this, and I love this part, though. I love this. Lead creative director Sean Eskeg said, quote, "We are always listening to and welcome feedback from our community. There are currently no plans to change our character designs." Good for you, dude. It's not like Sonic. Sonic, I get it. Like Sonic, they're like, "Yo, this is so bad. We gotta change this." Yes, it was horrifying what they did to Sonic in that movie. This, you do you. Fuck everybody else. They're gonna if you make a good enough game, they'll still buy it. It'll be fine. Anyways, so oh my god, we're already halfway through the news and we're not even at a half an hour yet. I'll try to talk about what I've been playing for a long time. Actually, you know what? I got a great story about what I've been playing, but we'll get to that. So everybody's been talking about Cyberpunk 2077 lately, obviously, because, E3, they showed off more gameplay behind closed doors. But I feel like this is the most important and amazing, but simultaneously not really surprising news to come out of it. It's been confirmed to Cyberpunk 2077 has been confirmed to support NVIDIA's RTX ray tracing. This means so much for graphics. I mean, what we already saw at E3, I'm 99% sure did not have ray tracing. The fact that they're going to add ray tracing to this already impressive visually game, that's freaking awesome. That can really set it over the top. It makes me a little bit worried how it will perform and how much, because when you add ray tracing to stuff, like my computer right now can't handle ray tracing, and I have a pretty solid computer. It makes me wonder what it's going to do for frame rate. It makes me wonder what it's going to do for all that. But if they can make it work, hell yeah. Ray tracing in Cyberpunk, it's going to be amazing. NVIDIA also said Control, which is Remedy's game, is going to have ray tracing. Remedy makes games that already push computers. I remember my first gaming computer couldn't even handle, I was trying to remember last week what it was called. Quantum Break. That's what it was called. My last gaming computer couldn't handle Quantum Break. Finally built one that could. And they always make these seriously just gorgeous, gorgeous games. They're the new Crysis. 100%. They're the new Crysis. And the fact that it's going to have ray tracing is just, especially for such a, intense visual game, it's going to be amazing. Additionally, Bloodlines 2 is going to have it. Wolfenstein the Youngblood and Watch Dogs Legion. Now, I don't think I've heard of a full release game that has ray tracing like Assassin's Creed or anything like that. that is going to be something to behold. I can't even. I mean, the limited video I've seen of ray tracing. I mean, as far as open world would go, would be something like Minecraft. You know, the ray tracing video on Minecraft. I can't even imagine how beautiful and actually probably how shitty it will run too. Watch Dogs Legion with ray tracing. I mean, that's the freaking future. I'm telling you. We got 2 episodes left, so I'm not gonna be there reporting this stuff to you in the future when this is a whole big thing. But I want you to mark my words. You remember when ray tracing is in all these games, and you compare, you know, the old Watch Dogs and the new Watch Dogs with ray tracing, and the old Wolfenstein, the new one with it. I mean, like, when you compare these, actually, that's cool. Kind of the cool thing too. It's backwards compatible. I mean, you could add ray tracing to these old games, kind of like they do with anistropic lighting or something, where shadows, where you add better shadows to stuff. You can go back and do it, but it'll be a thing, you guys. It'll be a thing. Okay. So, moving on. This week we learned that the upcoming Zelda Link's Awakening game was actually an afterthought to a feature they were making. So, one of the features they showed at E3 was this thing called Chamber Dungeons that allows players to create Zelda dungeons by placing room tiles on a grid, you know, which is... Oh, well, we'll get to this. So it turns out that they had the idea for the feature for Chamber Dungeons first, and they only decided on Link's Awakening not because it was beloved by fans, but because it would be a great fit for Chamber Dungeons. So Legend of Zelda series producer Eiji Aonuma said, quote, we never really start when we make remakes or imagine a game by thinking about which title to do. It is more we think about what kind of game experience can we incorporate that's new and fresh and go from there. Chamber Dungeons were a perfect fit for Link's Awakening. We wanted to prioritize putting forward a new, fresh experience for fans. He went on to say, quote, the Chamber Dungeons were definitely an inspiration for making this remastered game. This is because a lot of the dungeons in Link's Awakening were a set size. Some rooms might be 2 rooms that are connected. That makes it look big. From the top view angle, it's very easy to see what's in the room and then also place those rooms and adjust them as necessary. So, oh God, sorry, Mishka. Knocked over my microphone. So that's interesting. Now, like, I'm going back and I'm thinking about all these Zelda games. Like, it's kind of blowing my mind right now. Think about every Zelda game. And we already knew that each one introduced a new mechanic. So, you know, you got, you know, Wind Racer, whatever, where, you know, it's all about the boats. You know, you got Majora's Mask, which is, you know, time, and you got, you know, Ocarina of Time, which is, you know, a little less about time, but still kind of about time travel. And you got Breath of the Wild, which is, you know, which has it has like crafting and survival elements. That's really, really interesting how, like, I mean, it sounds like what they're saying is that they considered probably for a second making a brand new Zelda game in this engine and then realized that Link's Awakening would be a great fit for a remake rather than just coming up with a brand new story. You know, it's cheaper. You don't have to worry about writing and stuff. You just basically copy and paste. And I don't know. I dig it. I don't know. It's a little bit sad. It's kind of like finding out your parents were just really happy that you were a surprise. You know, it's like, oh, okay, well, I mean, you wanted me. That's nice, but I was a surprise. Oh, okay. You weren't trying for me. Okay, I mean, that's cool. I'm glad you're happy, but you know, yeah. Rachel says, I'm so glad you told me what ray tracing is. I actually understand for once. I'm telling you, anybody who doesn't know what ray tracing is, look up ray tracing comparison videos online. Some of them are really long and obnoxious, but you know, you could really tell when they show like a room. You know, they'll show light coming into a room, and it reacts realistically to how it would in the real world. Speaking of Zelda, an interesting theory about the upcoming Breath of the Wild sequel is that it is either related to or inspired by Majora's Mask, which is Ocarina of Time sequel. So I heard that, I'm like, I mean, it makes sense. Majora's Mask is the kind of like darker, more twisted, version of Ocarina of Time. I mean, not version of, but like it's a dark sequel. And now the little bit that we saw, especially with like that twisted. Oh, I gotta tickle my throat. Hold on. Sorry. Ooh, I got tickle. This kitty is so content. Especially with like the thing that was crawling on the wall and like its head twisted back. I mean, this looks like a dark ass game. It has some of the same kind of like color tones as Majora's Mask, so it made sense. But unfortunately, according to director and producer Eiji Aonuma, he said, quote, "The new Breath of the Wild or the sequel to it is not necessarily going to be related to Majora's Mask or inspired by it. What we showed you currently is a little darker." So what they have been inspired by, however, is Red Dead Redemption 2, which hopefully not too much, because I would hate to have Link walking everywhere. That'd be terrible. But yeah, this is according to Aonuma, said that a lot of his staff was playing that while developing the game. I mean, I think a lot of people were playing that game, but oh my god, last page of the news. I think we're gonna have like the shortest freaking episode we've ever had. We'll see. So finally, we got a bit of a weird answer when Aonuma was asked about whether or not there will be a co-op in the game. Something fans have, obviously been asking for a long time, or at the very least to be able to play as Zelda. That's specifically what players have been asking for a long time. IGN's Sam Claiborne asked him, quote, "I know for a long time people have wanted to play as Zelda, and there have been some games where you get to play as Zelda a little bit. It looked like Zelda and Link were hanging out a lot together. Do you think this is going to be the game in which we get to play as Zelda, maybe as a co-op game?" And then Aonuma replied, quote, "It's kind of interesting that you bring that up, because in Breath of the Wild you see Zelda and Link together often too. So to go straight into the thought of co-op is very interesting to me." I mean, he kind of dodged it. It sounded like he was kind of dodging it, kind of like, why would you suggest that? Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to actually believe that. I don't understand how you got there. It's almost too silly to comment on, That's what I would have thought immediately. If that's where the story ended up, like, no, you just asked a silly question, because, yeah, when we first saw Breath of the Wild, you see Zelda in that too. Why would you think that, it could be a flashback? Like, there's no reason to believe that you're playing co-op or that you could play as Zelda. So, but then, there it is. The next day, Jason Schreier asked Aonuma the same question, and he replied, quote, "A lot of people have been asking that, and so I want to ask you, why do people think that?" And Schreier responded saying that she's free at the end of Breath of the Wild, and people have wanted to play as her for a long time, to which Aonuma replied, quote, "I see, but I can't tell you." So now I'm starting to wonder. Like, I can understand, how there's like the possibility that it was just like confused by why people keep thinking you play Zelda. Like, I get that. There hasn't been that many clues suggesting that. Like, just based on what we've seen, there aren't really that many supporting, not facts, but things that would make us think, Zelda. And I just realized I didn't scroll down in chat. I have ignored you guys for so long. Oh my God, so many things. Carolina Jarvis says, hello. Sorry, Carolina, I completely skipped chat. Hopefully you're still there. Mark Mayfield says, "I'm so hyped for this game. I don't even know which one because it's been so long, Mark. So hyped for this game, but I hope there isn't some funky time mechanic. My brain can't handle it. Dodge 100. Okay, now we're caught up." And then she wants to know if the background makes me want to play checkers. I was worried about that when I made it too. I'm like, it kind of looks like checkers, but it's fierce. Like red is fierce, and my chair is red over there, and my keyboard's red. There's a lot of red things in the room, so I'm like, it'll match the room. But I'm wondering if I should have gone blue. Anyways, so yeah, if it was just that, I wouldn't have thought anything of it. There's not really any clues. But the fact that he keeps dodging the question and not answering it is at least interesting. I feel like I mean, that's not like some little gameplay mechanic that you have to keep the lid on, you know? Like it's like, hey, are there going to be guns in this game? No, there's no guns in this game. Why would you think there were guns? There's never been well, I mean, there's been guns in Zelda. Can you fly a rocket ship in this game? No, you've never been able to fly rocket ships. Why would you think that? No, you can't fly a rocket ship. But the fact that he's like, no, you've never been able to do that, I don't understand why you would ask that. I also can't answer you. I'm sorry, I can't answer that question specifically. Like that's weird. I'm not saying also that that's proof. But keep an eye on that. I'm not even saying it's worth making a prediction. But Rachel makes a good point. Such a politician answer. I mean, no. You know what the good political answer would be? It would be first of all, that's a great question. And I know a lot of fans have been asking for Link to be in a Legend of Zelda game. And I definitely think that's something we need to look at. Because I know a lot of people want it. And we need to consider both sides. You know, make sure that if we were to do this, that everybody would be happy with the execution of that. And while I cannot speak more to it at this time, I definitely believe that Zelda is the greatest video game ever. God bless you all, and God bless Zelda. Also, what would happen if they made a game where you only play as Zelda? Would they make it The Adventures of Link, or The Legend of Link? Would they have to do that? And I feel like a lot of people have been really confused, going like, when have you not been able to play as Zelda? I feel like you've always been able to play as Zelda. Zelda's the girl. Jamie wants to know, can you pet the dog? That one that's a great question. You know, surely we have a lot of dog lovers out there. And I know petting the dog is important. I'm not going to do this anymore. That's done. And then, yeah, Carolina makes a good point. She says he probably signed an NDA. That is true. But, I mean, he's doing an interview for the game. And oh, my God, tickle in my throat again. Jeez. With an NDA, you can't discuss certain details about the game. I don't understand why they would include whether or not you play as Zelda in the game, in an NDA. I mean, you know. She says Link in Soul Calibur was awesome. Yeah, I played him a lot when I was doing that. Mark says, let me be clear. We've got the best characters, folks. Trust me. Believe me. It's going to be huge. But yeah. There's something to keep an eye on. It is. That's it for the news. 30 well, I guess -5, almost 30 minutes in, and we're done with news. Again, that's what happens after E3. I will talk about for a second, though. I've been playing several games. One of which has been Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So if you like Japanese-ass games, I highly recommend Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I know I've mentioned this before, but I have a little bit more insight into it now. At first, and you know what? It just plain out is. The combat is super complicated. It really, really is. But ultimately, it's not as complicated as it appears. So they have so many different systems in this game that at first glance, they know how many systems they have, and they just purposely do not throw everything at you at the same time. At first, it's just like hit A to attack, and then just let your guy attack. He's just gonna sit there swinging. Don't worry about it. Shh, just let him swing. And then it introduces skills. Like, oh, you can hit these 3 buttons, and those are different skills. Just, you know what, they do damage. Don't worry about it. They do damage. It's fine. Just skills and then attack. And then some of these skills do different things, and there's something called cancel attacks where you could recharge the skills faster, and then then there's break, and then you topple people with those skills, and then the topple goes into launch, and then launch into pound, and then then you can do chain attacks, and then link attacks, and then if you do a certain skill that powers up over a certain amount of time, but you have to make sure that it powers up to level 2, because if it doesn't power up to level 2, then it's not going to activate, and if you go higher than level 2, then it's actually going to only be the same as level as 2, then you need to make sure everything coordinates. And if you hit the start button, oh my God, if you hit the start button, then you can do an ultimate chain link attack, but that uses up all of your bars that you need to also revive people. But don't worry about that. Just attack the guy. Just hit him with the sword and it's fine. So that's kind of like, now I'm not one who enjoys complicated game systems. The fact that I retained all of that is just insane. That being said, I don't know if there's a demo or something, but it's a really fun game. If it's on sale or something, highly recommended if you like RPGs and don't mind kind of just, again, it's complicated, but the way they teach you is really, really good. And it's not that hard of a game too. It's not one of those games where it's like, if you don't use every mechanic, like if you don't, tweak it by that 1%, then you're just screwed. Like there are mechanics I haven't even been using at all because I'm like, I don't want to figure out food. I don't want to have to do food every time like you eat something and then it gives you a bonus to this. I don't want to worry about that. And I've never had any problems. So I recommend that one. Mark says after the marathon, that was that last episode. That was, yeah. Carolee goes, my kiddo just said, imagine Keanu Reeves as Keelik. Oh man, that'd be pretty amazing. They should just put Keanu Reeves in Smash Brothers. That'd be good. They just put him in everything. What a fantastic guy. You know what? And speaking of fantastic men, another game I've been playing is Crackdown 3. So there's a reason why I got all hyped up for a second. Crackdown 3, first of all, it had the perfect amount of reviews. I think they got like 6s and 7s. But remember a while ago I was talking about games that are 6s and 7s that more people should play because they're just fun. They're not great. They're not high quality. They're just fun and stupid. Crackdown 3 is a fun, stupid game. Could not tell you what's happening during it. I don't know the story. It's weird. But here's the reason why I was getting all, oh. Everybody is all up on Keanu Reeves' dangle. They're like, oh, Keanu Reeves, you're so awesome and you're so great. Terry Crews. Why? I don't know why that guy doesn't get enough love. Terry Crews is a phenomenal man. I've been watching a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine recently, and then I started playing Crackdown 3, which gives you an option to play various different characters, 4 of which are just video game characters. Like, I'm not saying from other video games, it's just somebody went into character creation, just hit random, It's like, oh, there's a blonde, random chick. I don't know. And then there's Terry Crews. You can play as Terry Crews. So my question is, who would not want to play as Terry Crews? Terry Crews is amazing. Terry Crews is awesome. And there's a moment in the game where he jumps up on top of, and this just happens randomly, he jumps up on top of this really high building, and he goes, fuck gravity. No, it's fuck you, gravity. That's right. Terry Crews is incredible. So, and then Carolina wants to know, have you seen Always Be My Maybe on Netflix? I have not. But Terry Crews, we can play him on Crackdown 3. That's really all I was getting to with that. And I'm a little bit upset that we don't worship Terry Crews because he is in a lot of things, and I like him more than I like Keanu Reeves. There, I said it. I said it. Okay. Cat's out of the bag and off the table. So yeah, I've been playing Crackdown 3. It's more Crackdown. That's really all it is. It is a stupid, fun game if you liked the other Crackdowns and you're okay with it not bringing anything else to the table, which is what most games should. If you have something that's fun, just keep making it fun. I've got the Game Pass on PC, which is another thing I recommend. Fantastic service. If that wasn't, I might even keep it. I might keep it because yes, my backlog is getting insane, but it's only, I think it's like $5 or $10 a month. I think it's like $10 a month, and just totally worth it. All the games that are on it, fantastic. But yeah, I've been playing Crackdown 3, and you should all get it. Like Carolina says, Keanu's fantastic. Oh, I agree. he is fantastic, but I like Terry Crews better. Rachel says, "Fuck you, Gravity. Every drunk ever." Fuck you, Gravity. That's exactly what it sounds. That was a good impression of him. And then finally, the last thing I've been playing that I want somebody else to get this game, and I want to play it with you. And the most beautiful thing about this game is you don't even have to be good at video games. That's what's really fun about this game. It is called Sea of Thieves, and you're a pirate. That's about it. So I'm going to tell you guys a story. So first of all, and I know I've talked about this game before, but the genius thing about this game is that all the money all the gold and stuff, all the upgrades you get in this game do nothing towards how much damage you do, how many bullets you carry or anything like that. You everything you start out with, you end up with. You don't invest to get a bigger ship. You could start out with a big ship, but you need more people to sail it. It's just that. And the motive, and I always thought that this wouldn't be a game I would like to play because where's the motivation? Why am I playing this game? Because I don't care if I can change the colors of my sails. I don't care about anything like that. Like, I don't care that I can make things look different. Why would I play? And I realize now it's the stories. It's the stories that come out of this. So I'm going to share with you guys a story that is just fantastic. So I'm sailing to this fort, right? Sailing to this fort with a buddy of mine, Mash Brotatoes, which is a fantastic name. And we come up to the fort, and we're gonna. There's like a mission there where if you kill all the waves of skeletons and stuff, you get a lot of treasure. So as we're doing that, I get back to the ship to get some more ammo, and I look out on the sea and I see the ship coming, like, just beelining for us. And I tell my buddy, I'm like, yo, there is a guy who is coming straight for us. He is full sails down, just beelining right for us. Look, I'm going to get to this little watchtower and stuff. I'm going to keep an eye on it. You keep, unload. Oh, that's right. We were unloading treasure. That's the thing. So we already beat the fort. Now we're just getting the treasure, which takes a while because you can only take one box at a time. I mean, unloading all the treasure, I think, takes maybe 10 minutes. It takes a little while. Maybe 5. I don't know. So I go up on the tower while he's loading up the boat. And that's the thing. Once he's on the boat, like, somebody can jump on your boat and just grab a thing and run, or they can sink your ship and kill you and take all your ship. So, there's a lot of risk and stuff in this game, and you have to be very, very careful. So he's coming towards us, and I realize he's getting closer and closer. He is definitely not turning. So, I load up a bunch of cannonballs in the cannons on the watchtower, and I get on the megaphone and I scream "fuck you" and start. I mean, I could have come up with something a little bit more eloquent to say, but I'm like, fuck you, and I start shooting cannonballs at him. And, immediately he starts turning, and now he's, side by side. He's firing cannons at me. We're firing cannons at him. The Mashed Potatoes gets on the, Brotatoes gets on the, on our ship and starts shooting cannons. And eventually the guy, pulls around the corner and drops anchor, and, he's out of my range. I'm like, all right, keep an eye on him. I'm gonna sneak on his boat. So I jump straight from the tower into the water. And, I'm swimming, and I'm getting closer and closer. I'm driving really deep so that way he can't see me on the surface. And I climb aboard his thing, and I go to take off I was going to take up the anchor so that way I can just steal his ship and, have it sail away and then jump off so his ship is just sailing away. But unfortunately, his anchor is broken. I guess I don't even know if maybe we hit his anchor, because that's a possibility. You can hit somebody's anchor and it'll drop. So, I wait for the guy to kind of pop his head out and murder him, as I'm one to do. So I decide this would be a great opportunity, to blow up this piece of shit's, ship. So I run back, grab one of these explosive barrels, bring it back, and I go suicide mission, because I know this guy's going to be on the ship and he's going to shoot me. And, he's on the bottom of the ship, I guess, maybe with, treasure chests, I don't know. And I jump down the stairs. I'm like, surprise, motherfucker. And he shoots me, and he blows up his own ship. And, I mean, that's just part of it, too. So we load up our ship. we're heading back. You have to take it back to an outpost. You know, there's one just due west of us, and we're on our way there. And all of a sudden, I hear, I'm like, what the fuck was that? And I turn around, and the second I turn around, a giant ass megalodon just fills the screen and chomps to the back of our boat. I mean, this thing popped up so fast and was so startling. It was like a jump scare in a movie. It was fantastic. So, you know, I mean, we were going full sails, you know, trying to outrace this freaking thing. And actually, that's kind of where it ends, because we outraced it. It was gone. But still, that's the kind of game that this thing is. I mean, it's so much fun. That's what you get out of it. You get stories. You know, maybe that one wasn't the best story in the entire world, but it was a lot of fun. Rachel says you play for the booty, obviously. But yeah, you know, it's a fun game. You know, it's there were these little moments that happen in it, like oh, hi, Miss Mishka, like that. You know, like it's when I first started playing, I needed him to show me the ropes. So, you know, my job was to go on the watchtower and keep an eye out for ships. And, you know, and I'm like, oh, God, there's one northwest of us, because you can hold up a compass. And, you know, then there was another moment where we're stuck in a storm, and I'm like, and I'm, you know, dumping out water because, you know, we're taking on water. And then, you know, our ship was going down at one point. So I just started playing the accordion. You know, no, it was like a little, never mind, it was like a music box thing, but it was pretty freaking epic. Anyways, this game's amazing. Anybody out there, if you guys want to play it with me, I would love to play it with you. It's so much fun. You don't even need a very fast computer. If you have an Xbox One, it's on Game Pass. It's called Sea of Thieves. Definitely need a microphone though. Definitely need a microphone. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And that does it. I stretched it as long as I could. I did. I don't think I haven't been playing anything else, right? No. I got nothing else to talk about. That does it for episode 98, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. We do live episodes every Tuesday on Facebook.com/DownToFierceGaming. You know what I've been forgetting to mention is that we have an audio portion of this. That's on iTunes, Podbean, Google Play, and Stitcher. You can find us there. Actually, I don't know why. Just 1 week, I just stopped talking about the audio. You can watch all of our... Jamie says Picross. Yes, I'm addicted to Picross. I've decided that I love Picross so much, I'm just going to, like, once I beat... Because I'm doing Mega Picross now, which is like 10,000 more times complicated than regular Picross. That when I'm done with Mega Picross, I'm just going to start all over again, because I can't memorize all those puzzles. I need more Picross. Never play Picross. It is the greatest and worst thing that ever happened to me. Watch all of our videos on demand on youtube.com/DownToFierceGaming. 2 more episodes left. Let me do the thank yous. I want to thank our executive producers, Carolina Jarvis, Brian Kizmetsky. I want to thank Andrew Facekicker Kirkendall. I want to thank Mark Mayfield. I want to thank Tristan Haynes. I want to thank everybody who has ever supported the podcast. I love you guys so much. 2 episodes left. This is crazy. Next episode will be in Jacksonville. Oh, that's right. So I think I was just talking to myself at the beginning of the episode, but just so you guys know, the next 2 episodes, here's the plan. Next week's going to be in Jacksonville because I've got plans there, and also that'd be nice. So Brandon and I are going, at least Brandon and I'm going to try to get Chris Stan to join too, because we were the original people that started this podcast. But at the very least, it'll be Brandon and I. We're going to do the penultimate episode together. And then the final episode, July 2nd, will be here in St. Pete. That will be the last episode ever. Was that July 2nd? I feel like that's too soon to be July, isn't it? Hold on. Did I get my dates wrong? Nope. No, it was July 2nd. It's the 18th today. Okay. So yeah, that will be the very, very last episode. And that's going to be... Where's my mouse? I lost my mouse. There it is. that's going to be probably mostly clips. If you have anything you want to record for the episode, a video, or want to write down something, or, whatever, feel free to. Most people probably won't. Not a problem. I'm going to have plenty of clips that I'm going to put in the episode. I've already got several ideas of stuff I want to put on there. One of which I know not a lot of people either remember or even saw was our first, we had an episode that landed on April Fool's Day. And of course, naturally, Brandon and I did something that I thought was really funny. So I'm going to get my favorite parts out of that one and edit it together. But until then, I'm going to leave you guys like I normally do with a music video. I was going to pull up some new music videos and stuff, but you know what? I want to support Chris Stanton and Face Kicker. So I'm going to have these last ones be those, except for the last episode. It's going to be a music video that I'm not trying to hype it or anything, but there was a music video I want to do. It's just me. I want to do it. So this is Marion Crane with Christopher Donald Stanton. He's the guy who's playing the guitar with the little beard in the beginning, just so you know who he is. He's a very, very handsome man. I'm sure of course you already know who Christopher Donald Stanton is. Who doesn't know who Christopher Donald Stanton is? Anyways, that does it for me, guys. I will see you guys next week in Jacksonville. Good night.
The time has come. I can see it in your eyes. It's the little things that destroy this confidence, leaving me astray, leaving me today. You're gone. This imbalance I can't mend. Things will escalate, left alone inside this head, and I'm murdering anything I can.
Downright fierce. 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 Downright fierce.
It's a downright fierce gaming podcast. Playing mad games and talking mad trash. Subtitle pinned and dropping facts. Fat consoles, news, and industry stats. Every week, Josh and the crew go hard with the gaming passion. It's true. It's downright fierce and the place to be. With a custom theme by Lars MC. It's downright fierce, get your game on. 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 It's downright fierce, get your game on. 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 Fierceness boom, it's the bomb. 20 questions, you can't go wrong. Nailed down the console, Chris implores, but now I can't get the Genesis off the floor. Streaming every Sunday on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook Live, so hit the switch. Got Scribe looking up those unknown facts. Helpful as heck, thanks a lot for that. Lost the bet, I need a pie. Pepperoni, it tastes so fly and it feels so good to play these games. Game Gear Links and GBA, Turbo Graphics, Neo Geo, retro consoles, looks so neato. Got 10 power strips for the Sega CD. Can play Sewer Shark in the dark, that's me. It's downright fierce, get your game on. Downright fierce, get your game on. Downright fierce, get your game on.